Welcome to the Money RX for CRNAs podcast. I'm Brett Fellows, and today we're going to discuss a big career decision many of you face as CRNAs. Should I stay W-2, or should I go 1099 and start my own business? Let's imagine a hypothetical CRNA named Amy. She has just received her dream job offer. Chief CRNA at a prestigious cardiac surgery center. The compensation, $205,000 a year plus benefits. Sounds amazing, right? But then her former colleague called with a different opportunity. A 1099 contract offer position offering her $285 per hour with complete schedule flexibility. Amy, of course, was confused. How would she even begin to compare these two options? If you've ever faced this same decision, well, you're in the right place. My goal today is to help you with a framework so you can make this choice confidently. We'll cover the real financial differences. We'll discuss tax implications that can save or cost you thousands. We'll figure out which path fits your career stage and personality. And we'll identify red flags to avoid in both arrangements. And by the end of this episode, you'll have the tools to analyze any W-2 versus 1099 opportunity that comes your way. But let's start with the basics. A W-2 employee has traditional employment with employer-provided benefits. A 1099 independent contractor runs their own business providing services. Now, one critical point. Neither classification affects your clinical scope of practice. You're still a CRNA doing anesthesia. The difference is how you get paid and who handles your benefits. The most recent AANA data from their 2023 workforce survey reveals that 21% of CRNAs are now working as independent contractors. That's a notable increase, highlighting a significant trend. The survey also shows that 45% of CRNAs are employed by hospitals or health systems, and that 25% work for anesthesia groups. So this trend toward 1099 work is accelerating. Why? Well, we'll explore that today. But first, let me bust a common myth. Most CRNAs think comparing W-2 versus 1099 means comparing salary versus hourly rate. But that's wrong. You need to compare total compensation. The CRNA making $180,000 a year as a W-2 employee isn't necessarily making less than the 1099 contractor earning $250 per hour. You have to do the math. Okay, most CRNAs begin with W-2 employment, so let's start there. The biggest benefit is that it offers predictability and simplicity. Take Marcus, a staff CRNA at a regional medical center. He makes $175,000 in salary. But that's not his total compensation. His employer contributes $15,000 towards health insurance. He gets a 5% 401k match worth $8,750. His malpractice coverage costs the hospital $5,000 annually. And his 5 weeks of paid time off is worth $16,827 in foregone work. So Marcus's total compensation package is actually $220,577, not $175,000. W-2 employment offers other benefits too. Predictable income and schedules. You know what you'll earn each month. You know when you'll work. The benefits come without shopping around. Your employer handles health insurance negotiations. They manage retirement account setup. They pay for malpractice coverage. And legal protections matter too. W-2 employees have employment law protections, workers' compensation coverage, unemployment benefits if you lose your job. And tax simplicity is huge. Your employer withholds taxes automatically. No quarterly payments, no complex business tax returns. You get a W-2 form in January and file your return. But W-2 employment has limitations. You have fewer tax deduction opportunities. You can't write off professional equipment or home office expenses like a business owner. Your retirement contributions are limited to employee limits. That's $23,500 for 2025 if you're under age 50. Schedule flexibility is often limited. You work when the hospital needs you. And vacation requests go through approval processes. You might not get the time off you want. And your benefits are tied to your employer. Change jobs, you might lose your retirement vesting. You'll have enrollment periods for new benefits. Coverage gaps are possible if you're not careful. Now let's examine 1099 independent contracting. And this is where things get interesting for CRNAs. Meet Rachel. She's a 1099 CRNA making $285,000 annually. But unlike Marcus, Rachel is a business owner. She can write off business expenses that W-2 employees cannot. Professional equipment and supplies, home office expenses using the actual expense method, professional development and continuing education, business travel and transportation, professional liability insurance, professional memberships and subscriptions. These deductions can total $17,000 to $44,000 per year. That's money coming off her taxable income. But the retirement benefits are where 1099 work really shines. Rachel can contribute to a solo 401k. The 2025 limit is $70,000 if you're under 50, $77,500 if you're 50 or older. Compare that to the $23,500 employee limit for W-2 workers. And solo 401k plans allow both traditional and Roth contributions on the employee and employer sides. Rachel could potentially put away $77,500 annually and still have tax advantages. Then there's the QBI deduction. The qualified business income deduction allows a potential 20% reduction on eligible business income. Now, this phases out at higher income levels, but many CRNAs can benefit. 1099 contractors typically earn higher hourly rates, and they need to because they're covering their own benefits. Rates are often 30% to 50% higher than W-2 equivalents. Schedule control is complete. Rachel chooses when to work. She can take vacation without requesting approval. She can work multiple contracts simultaneously, and she can pursue additional revenue streams. But 1099 work comes with responsibilities. You pay self-employment taxes of 15.3% on net earnings. You make quarterly estimated tax payments. You shop for your own health insurance. You have no guaranteed income or hours. Business management becomes part of your job. Contract negotiations, bookkeeping, professional liability insurance shopping, business entity setup and management. And income variability is real. Some months you might make $50,000, other months zero. This can complicate mortgage applications and other lending decisions. Now let's return to Amy's decision. How do we actually compare a $205,000 W-2 position with benefits to a $285 per hour 1099 contract? Well, first, calculate the W-2 total compensation. Amy's $205,000 salary plus benefits is worth approximately $245,000 total. Next, analyze the 1099 opportunity. At $285 an hour, working 1,600 billable hours annually, Amy would gross $456,000. But that's before expenses and taxes. Business deductions reduce her taxable income by $25,000. She contributes the maximum $70,000 to her solo 401k. Her net business income becomes $361,000. Now for taxes. Self-employment taxes cost about $66,000. Federal income taxes run approximately $90,000. State taxes add another $25,000. So she nets about $180,000 in take-home pay. But remember, she also put $70,000 into retirement. So her total effective compensation is around $250,000. That's $5,000 more than the W-2 position. So the 1099 position wins financially, but barely. Amy gains about $5,000 annually, but becomes responsible for 10 to 15 hours of monthly of business administration. She handles all benefit shopping and management. She accepts income variability and business risk. So the decision isn't just about money. It's about what kind of professional life you want. Some CRNAs love the business aspects. They enjoy negotiating contracts. They want complete schedule control. They're comfortable with income variability, while others prefer simplicity. They want predictable paychecks. They don't want to manage business operations. They value employer-provided benefits. So how do you decide which path is right for you? Well, here's a framework for some decision making. Choose W-2 employment if you're early in your career and you want mentorship and stability. If you prefer predictable income over maximum income. If you don't want business management responsibilities. If you have complex family health insurance needs. Choose 1099 contracting if you're comfortable with business management. If schedule flexibility is your top priority, or if you want maximum tax benefits, if you can handle income variability. And your career stage matters too. Early career CRNAs often benefit from W-2 employment. You're learning, you want stability, you're paying off student loans and need predictable cash flow. Mid-career CRNAs might find 1099 work appealing. You have experience. You know your worth. You want to accelerate wealth building through higher earnings and better tax advantages. And pre-retirement CRNAs often love 1099 flexibility. You can transition from full-time to part-time gradually. You have more control over your final working years. And consider your personality too. Are you entrepreneurial? Do you enjoy managing details? Are you comfortable with uncertainty? Well, then 1099 work might fit. Or do you prefer structure? Do you like having someone else handle administrative details? Do you sleep better with predictable income? W-2 employment might be better. Think about your family situation. Single CRNAs often have more flexibility to take 1099 risks, while CRNAs with families might prefer W-2 stability and benefits. Your financial position matters. CRNAs with substantial emergency funds can handle 1099 income variability better. Those still building their financial foundation might prefer W-2 security. For both arrangements, watch for red flags and warning signs. W-2 red flags include benefit packages below market standards, inflexible scheduling policies that don't respect your work-life balance, limited professional development support, poor staffing ratios that affect patient safety and your job satisfaction. 1099 red flags include contracts with employee-like control. This creates misclassification risk. Unreasonably low rates that don't account for your additional costs. Facilities requiring specific business structures that don't make sense for your situation. Or contracts without adequate liability coverage options. Your next steps are straightforward. Calculate your current total compensation value. Don't just look at salary. Include all benefits. Research 1099 rates in your market. Talk to other CRNAs doing contract work. Assess your comfort with business responsibilities honestly. Can you handle bookkeeping, contract negotiations, quarterly tax payments? Build your professional team before you need them. Find a CPA experienced with healthcare professionals. Identify an insurance agent who understands professional liability coverage. And connect with a financial advisor who works with high-income clients. Whether you choose W-2 stability or 1099 entrepreneurship, make sure you're making an informed decision based on facts, not assumptions. Thanks for listening to this episode of Money RX for CRNAs. If this helped clarify your thinking about W-2 versus 1099 work, please share it with other CRNAs who might benefit. And subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss future episodes. Until next time, make it a great day.
This podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes only. It should not be relied upon as a basis for investment decisions. This podcast does not engage in rendering legal, financial, or other professional services.